So, there's this new legal case that just dropped, and it could completely change how you use AI on your iPhone. And look, this isn't just about Siri getting a little bit smarter. No, this is about a war over who gets to be the default brain in your pocket. Okay, let's get into it.
I mean, this really is the central mystery, isn't it? When you ask your phone your most important, complex questions, who answers first? Is it always going to be one single pre-selected partner, or will you get to choose the best AI for the job? That one question could honestly flip the entire market.
And here's what that looks like in practice. Right now, you've got the current way. Siri can hand off the tough questions to its partner, ChatGPT. It's pretty seamless. But on the other side, you see the potential future. A world with a choice screen where you get to pick your default AI. Maybe it's Groq, Gemini, Claude, you name it. The fundamental way your phone thinks would totally change.
All right, first up, the AI default war. This is all about a brand new legal fight that's targeting what's being called the privileged lane for AI on the iPhone.
So what's the big deal here? Well, the core of the complaint is this. It argues that the way Apple lets Siri talk to ChatGPT, plus the way the App Store highlights certain apps, creates this special privileged lane just for OpenAI. It gently nudges millions and millions of us down one single path, before we even have a chance to think about any alternatives.
That brings us to Section 2, why defaults decide everything. And the key thing to get here is that this isn't just about a preference, it's about setting a pattern that is incredibly difficult to break.
And this quote from the source material just nails it. Defaults don't just set a preference, they set a pattern. Convenience hardens into habit. It's so true, right? That initial easy choice becomes a habit so fast that most of us never even think about changing it.
And that very habit is what feeds something called the data flywheel. Think about it. The AI that gets the most real-world questions, all the weird, messy, complicated stuff from millions of us, well, that's the one that learns the fastest. So it gets better, which makes more people use it, which makes it learn even faster. It's this incredibly powerful, self-reinforcing cycle. So this whole strategy really hinges on three levers of power. First, you've got the default, being baked right into the system, right there in your voice and keyboard. Second, there's discovery, getting spotlighted and ranked high in the App Store. And third, of course, is the data, getting to ride that flywheel effect to just keep getting better. It's a killer combination. If you boil all of this down to one single idea, it's this phrase: distribution is destiny. Being the assistant that sits right at the front door of the operating system is the ultimate competitive advantage. It gets the first look at everything, and that is a massive, massive head start.
Okay, so we've covered the problem. Now let's shift gears. Section 3, your phone, your choice. What would life actually feel like if you could really pick your phone's default AI assistant?
Just imagine this for a second. You could go into your settings, pick your favorite AI as the default, and then just ask it to plan an entire 10-day trip. Budgets, visa notes, the whole shebang. Or maybe you ramble a chaotic voice memo after a meeting and, poof, you get back a clean summary with perfect action items. You could even paste in a spreadsheet and have it reconciled in seconds. This is about real everyday magic.
And for professionals or teams, whoa, it gets even more powerful. You could swap in an AI that's a genius at nailing your specific brand voice for social media, or another one that's amazing at turning a rough script into a perfectly structured outline. For businesses, you could standardize. Maybe you use one model for finance and a different one for customer support. You're not just using an app anymore, you're swapping specialized brains on the fly.
So where is all of this heading? What happens next? Let's dive into Section 4 and map out the 3 most plausible ways this whole legal fight could end.
Okay, so this can basically end in one of 3 ways. First, a narrow win for the status quo, where not much changes and the current integration stays put. Second, and this is the big one, a choice screen, where Apple is forced to add a menu for you to pick your default AI. And third, there's always a settlement, which would probably lead to a choice screen anyway, just without a direct court order. And for you, the difference is huge. It's the difference between a curated path and genuine, actual choice.
All right, so we've seen the battlefield, we understand the stakes, we've looked at the possible endings, so where does this all land? Let's get to the prediction for how this AI war is most likely going to shake out.
Let's just put it plainly. A choice-based solution is the most likely end state here. Whether it comes from a court ruling or a settlement to get ahead of one, all the pressure is building toward a system where you, the user, get to pick your default AI assistant. So why is this so likely?
Well, for a few big reasons. First, it's kind of the best of both worlds. It keeps the benefits of deep system integration, but gives the choice back to you. Plus, let's be honest, this isn't a new idea. We've seen this exact same playbook with web browsers. The mechanics are familiar. At the end of the day, it's a solution that just works. It stabilizes trust and forces everyone to compete on what really matters: who has the best results.
And this brings us right back to the biggest question of all, the one that will define the next decade of this technology. Are we going to let a few powerful partnerships set the rails for everyone, or are we going to design the rails so that the best model can win, on its own merits, task by task, day by day? The answer to that question will define the future of mobile AI.